Time now for some live Q&A to end today's show. Use hashtag Cowboys. That's how you get your questions on the air. Makes it a heck of a lot easier for producer Alicia to find them. Now, Stelios 300 Cowboys wants more Jourdan Hip Pocket Lewis. Can I get a hooah? There you go. There's your hooah there, my friend. I want more Jourdan Lewis. I absolutely do. He also says, or wants to know, by the way, if Coop can't go, will we see Cedrick Wilson? Because Cooper is an outside receiver, I think Devin Smith would be the first man up for the Cowboys. You can still use Ventel Bryant on special teams. I think, though, that Wilson would remain on as an inactive, and Devin Smith would get the call up. Winston Shan, do you bet Kellen Moore has special plays for the next 5 to 6 weeks, especially the Vikings, Patriots, Bears, and Rams? Depends on how you define special. Here's a play I guarantee you'll see, because they've teased it, they've set it up, they've laid the groundwork for it before. Maybe not this week, maybe not next week, but very soon, you will see a throwback screen to Zeke Elliott. They've designed the play, they've set it up as a misdirect before. They did it last week against the Giants. Watch out for the throwback screen for Zeke Elliott. They've kind of laid the foundation for it. They did it earlier with the Tony Pollard emotion, don't throw it to him, then they did throw it to him. Keep that in mind there for the Cowboys. You'll see it over the next couple of weeks. William Sprack, how good is that safety we did not draft? I assume you mean Juan Thornhill. Let's chime in with our Chiefs report host, Harrison. How good has Juan Thornhill been this year? Pretty good, guys. Next, the third long. Why is it that Cheeto plays so far off when Richard's style of play is to be physical at the line? Does Cheeto play his own style, or is it designed for his half of the field? Byron tends to play some off coverage too. Richard likes physical, but he runs a lot of cover 3 with his scheme, and typically that style means you're playing a little bit offline. But I'm on board with you. I like physical. I like man-to-man. I would like to see them playing closer to line, especially on third downs that aren't third and long. Get up there. Oh, my God. Alicia, you're killing me. No, there's not any interest in Jermaine Whitehead. I mean, why would you want him? It's like Antonio Brown, but a worse football player. I don't want him on this. No one wants him. No. He was also really bad for Cleveland this year. He's like a worse version of Jeff Heath and also terrible person. No, absolutely not. All right, Kingpin Littlejohn. What can we do differently in this half than we didn't do in the first half of the season? I'm going to make a really obvious comment here. Start better. The end results have been fine. The points per game, the yards per game have all been top 10 in the NFL. Even the defense has been top 10 in points per game. But the starts have been worrisome. That's why every dang game, there's a meltdown in the first quarter, and then everyone's fine by the time we get to the end of the third in most of these matchups. TKG, what happened to Cooper? Had an MRI for a left knee contusion. That's the medical term, or I guess the fancier term, for a bruise. I think he's going to be fine. It is worth monitoring. He did say he expects to practice tomorrow, that's Friday, and play in the game. So we'll monitor it. But I think he's going to be okay. He's battled through all kinds of injuries this year. And it's just going to be the story of his season. But as long as he's out there, he has been great. Today's show is brought to you by BetDSI. Chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Cowboys120 for a 120% deposit bonus. You put down $50, they hook you up with 60 for free. It's chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Cowboys120. It's the single best sportsbook betting deal out there. You're not going to find a better one. Heck, they even give you extra deposit bonuses at various points in the year. If you get them before Christmas time, they did it for me last year. They do it this year too. Extra deposit money. It's a great deal there. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Cowboys120. Andrew Carrillo, or Carrillo, however you want to say it. Can we shut down the run against the Vikings? They will try. Easier said than done. Minnesota's had a pretty good run. Not pretty good. They had a great run game this year, but I think you can absolutely do it if you're the Cowboys, and you might need to pick up the win. TKG, thoughts on Michael Bennett wearing kicker pads? I mean, he's always done it. It looks really weird, but you know what? If you feel good, look good, you play good. I don't have any issue with it. It's weird. It's strange. It's easy to make jokes about it, but as long as he plays well, I don't care. AJ Maris wants to know who gets cut, who stays long term. I think Tyrone Crawford's a goner. I think Bennett is a 1-year rental for the Cowboys. They'll try with Byron Jones and Quinn. The contracts are going to be pretty critical for those guys, and I don't know how much longer you're going to have Sean Lee, Jason Witten being able to play. They might have to retire in somewhat near future. All right, Terrell again. Predict the score, Tom. All right, I got the Cowboys winning against Minnesota. I'm going to go 27-23. So the Cowboys cover the spread. I think that's also the over in that game as well. I want you guys to predict the score as well. You got to do it. Put in the comments too. I always like that. Like Cowboys Nation has 24-23. But predict the score by DMing Kashiyama Taylors on Instagram. That is at Kashiyama Taylors on Instagram. If you are the first one to get the score exactly right with the winning team, we will hook you guys up with $50 for the first correct score prediction. So go DM them at Kashiyama Taylors on Instagram, and follow them too. You must be followed to enter, which I don't even know if you can DM people you don't follow on Instagram. I'm not hip to the game, but follow and DM them on Instagram at Kashiyama Taylors. Next up, Juan Garcia. Jason Garrett out, Lincoln Riley in 2020. That's the goal if you fire Garrett, right? Lincoln Riley absolutely at the top of that list. Jonathan Judd says we need to draft a receiver in the top 3 rounds. 100% if you lose Cooper, which I don't think you lose Cooper, but if you lose Cobb, that leaves you with Cooper, Gallup, and Tavon's a free agent. I don't really trust Cedrick as a top 3 receiver yet. He can be your 4, 5, 6, whatever. It's a great class for slot receivers and just receivers in general. I would gladly take one on day 2 at some point, depending how your needs at cornerback and defenseman, how the draft board itself actually ends up shaking out. Norman Hartford, where is Devin Smith? He is inactive. If Cooper's out there, and Gallup's out there, and Cobb's out there, those guys play the majority of your snaps. You're going to use Tavon as your gadget and special teams guy. That leaves you maybe one active game day spot. You're going to go with the guy who's the best special teams player, and right now the Cowboys give him that nod to Ventel Bryant. Now, if Cooper can't go, which, again, I think he's going to be able to go, if Gallup is hurt again, then you reinsert Devin Smith. But Devin Smith is a backup receiver. I know he had the one big play, but beyond that, hasn't done a whole lot. Nice to see him sticking around an NFL roster, but he kind of is who we thought he was. All right, Rule Ruiz. What should be the focus of the defense? I assume you're talking off-season? You're talking like this game? I'll answer that one first for Minnesota. I'm actually going to stop Stephon Diggs. Dalvin Cook, if he can get 110, that's fine. But if you take away the passing game, take away Diggs with likely no Thielen, that's not a good receiving core for Minnesota. That'd be my focus there. Off-season-wise, you got to figure out what your cornerback depth chart looks like because you might lose Byron and/or Anthony Brown. All right, Troy Daniels, where do you feel the weaknesses on the Vikings defense lie in which the offense can expose Minnesota? Kirk probably won't succeed that much or very much against that front 4 of the D-line. Well, the Vikings do have a very strong defense overall. I keep looking among the best defense. I think it's fair to put the Vikings defense near the top of that. I know that Xavier Rhodes is a big name. He hasn't been the same guy. There are some confidence issues there. Trey Waynes is fine. Despite the Vikings pumping in a ton of money and draft picks into the spot, cornerback, you can beat him through the air. I love Harrison Smith. Anthony Harris has been a nice surprise for them, but Xavier Rhodes has kind of gotten beat a lot more than you expect this year. He's given up 38 receptions on 45 targets, has allowed over 350 yards and 3 scores. That's worse than Byron Jones, guys. More on par with Chidobe Awuzie. Like, you can beat them through the air. So, you still don't want to ignore the run, but you should be able to have some success throwing it, especially deep, too. All right, Reed Ferguson. Is LVE questionable this week? Yeah, I'm going to list him as questionable. I think that's what the final report, once it comes out on Friday, of course this is Thursday right now, but that's what the final report should say. Cooper, I think, will be listed as questionable, but I think, aside from Fleming, I think at least two of those three guys, Cooper, LVE, and Heath, are going to be able to go. We'll see about LVE, that neck. It's the neck. You kind of want to be cautious with it, but I think he's close to getting back on the field. And kind of thought he was going to play last week. All right, Winston Shan, what's the plan for Trysten Hill for the future? If he can't work with Marinelli and Richard, I think he gets cut. That's what we saw with Taco, right? Look, Trysten Hill's still only 21 years old. Like, he's still very young. It's been a really bad start. So you're not going to cut him after this year. You're probably not going to cut him after next year either. You'll give him at least 3 offseason/training camps to get going, because he was still a second-round pick. Now, he was always a developmental guy, but the developmental side has been a lot slower than everyone, myself included, had hoped for. Hasn't looked great so far. I'm not going to call him a bust yet, but he is tracking that way. Can't work with Rod Marinelli. Typically, things don't work out that well for you. Jesus is Beast 77. When will we see Donovan Wilson? Great question. I don't know. Darian Thompson continues to see more action when Jeff Heath goes down, and by more, I mean all of the action when Jeff Heath is hurt. The Cowboys, maybe he hasn't been great in practice. It's a little surprising he hasn't been able to get on the field. Maybe Week 17 is a meaningless game, and you see Donovan Wilson that week. That would be my initial thoughts on when we get Wilson back out there. But we'll see. Just don't know. Now, we are approaching the 50K mark here at the Cowboys Report. Thank you all for subscribing. If it's your first time watching the show, you got the links. You're on YouTube. Just hit the big red button and subscribe. We do news, rumors, highlights, these live Q&As as well. But I also want to know, what should I do once we hit that 50K mark? For example, right now, I'm going to put I'm a cyberbully in timeout. That's for free. You guys are welcome. Let me know what we should do once we hit that 50K mark. I'm not going to cut my hair. I'm not shaving it. The wife said no, so I'm not going to do it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Detrell again, how do we lose to the Giants if we won, or the Jets if we won against the Giants? You know, scholars will look back on this 40, 50 years from now as one of the true wonders of the world. Because I have no idea. There's no way the Cowboys should have lost to the Jets. I don't care if it was on the road and you had your backup tackles. The Niners beat the Rams with their backup tackles. It was mind-blowing to me. Absolutely mind-blowing, and I will never understand how or why. Hayden Kim, is Noah Brown on our team? If he is, can he play tight end? I haven't had a Noah Brown question in a while. Noah Brown is on the physically unable to perform list. At this point, kind of feel like the Cowboys are just stashing him, and he's not going to play this year. He doesn't play tight end so much as he plays receiver, tight end, H-back flex. He just kind of does all of those things, and it works out very well there for the Cowboys. In the past, I am part of the 85 Hive. I don't think you see him back, though, this week or this year. All right, B. Henderson. Pressure up the middle, best against the Vikings, says Kurt will give you one. Well, great question. The Vikings offensive line, I've actually been fairly impressed with Brian O'Neill, very raw kid out of Pitt, but he's done a good job. Riley Reif, Josh Klein, Pat Elflein, they've played Dakota Dozier some. That has not gone over very well. Garrett Bradbury's a first-year player. You can beat them up the middle. So what you do, you use Michael Bennett, you get Malik Collins going, and you do some stunts too. Come around the edges, you stunt with DeMarcus Lawrence, has freed up players and has had success there. I think if you get pressure, you're right. Kirk will give you one. I called him Kurt, but it's funny. All right, Manster54, best guess for record in the second half of the season. How about they are what they've been? 5-3. And a 10-6 year, I think in the end that gets you into the postseason. That's all you can ask for. If you manage to pull that off, you'll have a chance to make a Super Bowl run. We had over 1,000 of you guys watching, so I know we didn't get to all of your questions. I apologize, but finite amount of time, finite number of questions we can bring up. So if we didn't get to them, hit me up on Twitter. Either DM or tweet them at me. I'm on Twitter at WhatGoingDowny. Go hit me up with any questions you have, except for you trolls in there. You guys are being lame. But if we didn't get to your questions, I'm sorry. And everything's coming up on Luke, including the Dez discussion and the injury update on Amari Cooper. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.